Join us on our Lenten Journey Reflections, Daily Grace.
Finding God in all things means finding God in all people. Some saints discovered this all too well and attacked the world head-on with their zeal. St. Paul is this. He was a tireless missionary, would carry with him a needle, thread and knife in order to use his tent-making skills to pay his way to preach, and to ensure he did not have to borrow or accept any money from anyone, which had implications to support the donor. Even in ancient times, there was no such thing as a free lunch. Paul was devoted to the communities he found, penning letters to early churches years before the Gospels were written. Paul founded the church in Corinth. Trying to steal his advantage, some self-proclaimed teachers arrived in the city, boasting that they were superior to Paul. They called themselves super apostles, who were false teachers, fraudsters looking to steal from gullible Christians, looking to profit themselves and their egos. Sounds familiar? False teachers have been around throughout the history of the church. By the grace and wisdom of God, Paul shone out. The year is 55 AD. In studying his letters, Paul often tells his readers to imitate him. Seems arrogant. But when you look deeper into Paul's mission, you see how he is imitating Jesus by his willingness to suffer for the sake of his faith. And suffer he did, willingly. It was a type of modelling Paul employed to teach early Christians the way of the church. Imitation must go beyond simply do as I say. It must reflect the ability to do as I do. This is how Paul defeated the false prophets back in the day. Not far from Corinth, some 1,500 years later, on the island of Majorca, Spain, was a saint who took on the world in a different way. Saint Alphonsus Rodriguez's life was made up of continuous tragedies. At 14, his father dies, leaves school to help his mother with the family business. At 23, he marries, loses his wife in childbirth 3 years later. A few years on, he loses his mother and his son. His business failed. He is alone in his 30s. He seeks his calling amongst the Jesuits but fails because of his lack of education. He persisted, went back to school, younger students ridiculed him, but he finally was accepted as a lay brother, where he served for 46 years at the Jesuit college as a humble porter, a door opener. His duty was to receive visitors, deliver messages, run errands, console the sick, give advice to the troubled, and help the needy. St. Alphonsus would say, "As love is paid for in love, I must imitate him, sharing in the Spirit, finding God in the present moment. Lord, let me know you and let me know myself," he would pray. Each time the bell rang, he looked at the door as if it was God himself standing on the other side. On his way to open the door, he would say, "I'm coming, Lord."
You are listening to Daily Grace. Join us daily at 7:30 a.m, 12 noon and 7:30 p.m. on Radio Tomorrow.